what's up? My name is Scott Roberts, and I've been releasing music as a solo artist under the name Indigo Hush for a little over a year now. I've been wanting to do more content. I've always loved YouTube content, loved YouTube videos. But to be honest, I mean, even at this very moment, I feel pretty awkward talking into the camera. So that's something I'll have to get used to. But this is the first and hopefully a long series of vlogs. This one's just going to be sort of an introduction. If you're watching this video, you've probably seen one of my music videos. Currently, I have 2 out. Drugs Are for the Weekend.
'Cause of the fear of being alone when everything ends. 'Cause the drugs are for the weekend.
And Creature Spell.
Call me in the morning and then tell me about your evening. Was it beautiful? Was it so unusual? 'Cause baby, you're a creature spell.
Both have done pretty well so far, so that's cool. And so I'm just going to be talking about my musical background, maybe some early influences, and mainly just instruments I've played, how I started playing them, and what I've been up to now. Growing up, we always had I think it's a 77 key, Wurlitzer upright. And one of my earliest live music memories is one of my older sisters playing the piano. I'm not sure if she was self-taught or if she had some lessons, but I just remember sitting next to her and watching her play, and I'm sure I was hitting keys and being an annoying little kid. But yeah, as far as live music, those are my earliest memories. And then we also had an acoustic guitar always just in the corner, almost as like a decoration. I think it still had the original strings. And I remember just messing around on the 6th string, the low E, just making random melodies, but just the act of picking up an instrument and creating something out of thin air with my own 2 hands that kind of sparked curiosity early on. Fast forward to the first instrument that was actually mine was a saxophone. And I don't know what I saw on TV or if it was particular sounds on the radio that I thought were saxophones, but I really wanted a saxophone. Later on in college, I ended up, I still have the saxophone. I ended up taking some lessons just kind of for fun and to see if something that I'd want to pick up again, and nothing ever came from it. But my teacher then said that it was actually a pretty nice saxophone, and at the time, it was probably a big deal for my parents to get that for me. So very much appreciated. They've always been very supportive, but unfortunately it's sat in the closet more than it's been played throughout the years. Then when I was 13, I really started to realize that I gravitated towards the guitar and guitar music, as a lot of kids that age do. Rock music, started to get into sort of heavier rock music, and started listening to some pop punk / punk rock. And my first guitar was a Yamaha brand starter kit, like a box, like everything was in the box. There was a black Strat style guitar, a practice amp, a cable tuner, just your starter set. I started playing that thing every day, and fast forward a little bit more, the first band that I actually got obsessed with, really into, was Metallica. Actually knowing all of their names, memorizing songs, knowing the lyrics, and then I would save my allowance and buy the tab books and sit in my room for hours. Friday, Saturday nights, I'd much rather than hang out with the only probably 2 or 3 friends I had back then. I'd most often would just sit in my room learning solos, trying to play like Kirk. I don't really remember a whole lot of Metallica songs still. I've lost a lot of those solo chops. But, I think muscle memory, even if you don't remember the part exactly, just those movements and those repetitive things that you did over and over, even if it was 10, 15 years ago, I still think those probably come out in my playing, especially lead playing. Then fast forward a little bit more, I think it was either the end of my junior year or the summer before my senior year of high school, I started working my first job, which was at McDonald's. And I worked exactly enough time to save up to buy this USA-made custom Jackson SL1, I believe was the model, soloist guitar. It had Floyd Rose locking tuners. It was flame maple, like orange and red. It was like the most metal guitar you could think of. It was like, I want to say with tax and everything, it was close to $2,000. So working part-time at McDonald's, after school and on the weekends, it took me quite a few months to save up that $2,000 back then. But that was my first guitar or music, anything that I saved up and every single penny, and bought myself. Later on, I ended up selling that guitar on eBay to buy a Les Paul, actually. But, I'll always love that guitar. As far as singing goes, I think I was too insecure and just lacked confidence to even try and sing pitch. In my late teens into my early 20s, I got really into death metal and like just really heavy, drop-tuned, screaming vocals, all that stuff. And I could play it well on guitar, but I don't know what possessed me to try. But one day I just tried, probably driving around, tried to scream along with some of my favorite songs. And it actually sounded okay. Like, to my ear, wasn't that bad. Then probably doing this, practicing maybe a month, I sent a rough recording. Remember those mics that would come with your computers that were just like the shittiest? It's just like a little circle with one microphone cable. I ended up screaming over another band's song, recording it and sending it to my friend who was also into that kind of music. And he was like, damn, dude, you actually sound pretty good. We end up starting a death metal band called Let Forever Burn. And we played quite a few shows around my hometown of Bakersfield, California. A lot of different places. Jerry's Pizza, shout out to Jerry's, played a lot of shows there. Golden State Mall, which is now either closed or called something else. I'm not even sure. But yeah, a lot of places around Bakersfield. We probably played, 30 shows over the course of a couple years. And that was my first band experience. Now, fast forward a few more years, and me and actually that same guy who I sent the vocals to, my best friend's Dustin, we start a sort of alternative rock / prog rock band called The Nature. You can find us on Spotify. The funny thing is, there's another band called The Nature, not from the U.S. I don't remember what country they're from, but we both pop up. We never took the time to fix that for whatever reason, but you can check us out on there. We had an EP called Nebula, and then one of my first self-produced projects was a full-length that I still to this day have not put out to a distributor or anything. So maybe one day I'll go back, and it definitely needs to be remixed and remastered and all that. But that was my first serious venture into producing. On the subject of producing, in my late teens, in addition to metal, I also listened to a ton of hip hop. And I remember just even recording like shitty sounds, like banging on a desk, a clap for a clap snare sound, and just making beats in whatever shitty like audio editing software I had at the time. And I kind of would just do that as a hobby, like throughout the years. That led me to, in a few years ago, really starting to dive in, take it seriously, watching a lot of YouTube videos on production. It's very frustrating, but also really rewarding when you get to the end and you actually feel like you created something, from nothing that sounds commercial quality. Even Indigo Hush songs that I put out a year ago, I listen to now, and, I think if I made that today, it would sound different. In my opinion, probably better, more polished. Maybe, I don't think the highs are shimmery enough, or maybe the low isn't hitting well enough. Currently, the last year I've put out 16 songs. The first song came out February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2020. I've just been writing nonstop during COVID and during quarantine, trying to stay inspired, which has been really hard at times because I haven't really gone anywhere. These times haven't allowed me to experience things like traveling. A lot of times it might just take, like a weekend trip with friends, and you come back and you have this whole idea for a song, and it almost writes itself just because of that, couple of days of life experiences. And a lot of that just is non-existent over the last year. So really just trying to, even if it's writing a song about a show that I'm really into or a movie, just trying to find inspiration wherever I can. Right now, I'm just finishing up a mix for my next song, which is called Reverb and Candy. I hopefully will be sending that to my mastering guy tonight or tomorrow. As far as writing, recording, engineering, producing, all of that to me just kind of is grouped into one thing, of making a song. And then when I think it's as good as I can get it at this current point in my life, I send it off to mastering. Let me know what other kind of videos you'd like to see. I definitely want to make future vlogs, not just me sitting at a table, but, being out and about, especially as restrictions start to lift. Still currently living in California. So, once more and more people get vaccinated, things are safer. Like I said, life experiences really, really make writing songs a lot easier. So, comment below. I don't really know what to call these vlogs right now. So if any of you have an idea for this vlog series, also comment below your suggestions. That's going to be it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. And like every other channel, if you enjoyed what you saw, thumbs up, subscribe, notification bell, all that good shit. And until next time, see ya.